In South Africa, people of different races live. Here, the races were categorized based on color of the skin. We have black people who are the original inhabitants, that is, they have been living here for thousands of years, and they are the indigenous people of the country, South Africa. Then there are whites. They are the white people who came from mostly the European countries. As the name states, their color is said to be white. Next is Indians, the people from our country, India. They went to South Africa 100 years ago to do labor work and also to do business. So they went as traders and also as laborers. In the earlier times, around 25 years ago, South Africa was ruled by a system of law called apartheid. According to that law, people were separated based on race. So as we see earlier, race means here the color of the skin. So what this system says or divides is the white people, the black people, the Indians, and also other colors or other colored people are all different. So for each colored people, the law is also different. It's not the same. And they were also not considered equal. So according to this law, the people of different races, primarily the white people and the black people, they should not mingle each other. That is, they should not talk to each other or communicate to each other. Like they should not say hi or they should not ask for any help. That is what they mean, communicate. And they should not live near each other. So white people won't have black people as neighbors. And they should also not use the common facilities. The common facility will be a train, bus, or a public toilet, or post office, a place of worship. So all these facilities will be different for different colored people. And even the hospitals were different. There were separate hospitals for the blacks and the separate hospital for the white people. And also the ambulances. So the white people had ambulances which was good and well equipped, whereas the ambulance meant for the black people was of poor quality. So it was of low grade and was not well equipped also. And there were different trains, different buses, separately for blacks and separately for whites. And even the bus stops. So different bus will come for whites and blacks, and also the bus stops. So people can't stand in the same bus stop. The whites will be having a different bus stop and the blacks also will be having a different bus stop. And one more important thing was the non-whites, that is, other than the white people, the black people, Indians and other colored people could not vote. So when election comes, only the white people will go and vote. And in South Africa, the best land, that is a healthy, hygienic and good place, those were all reserved for the white people. And the worst place, like a slum area or untidy place, all those places were given to the non-whites or the blacks and other colored people. In total, the blacks and also the other colored people were always treated lower and were never treated as equal to the white people. To oppose this apartheid system, a group of people gathered together, and what they did was they struggled against the system. And a famous leader of this party, the African National Congress, which opposed the apartheid system, was Nelson Mandela. I think some of you must have heard about him. He was in the jail because he participated and opposed the government and this apartheid system. Finally, in 1994, the party African National Congress succeeded and the apartheid system was removed and South Africa became a democratic country. That is, democracy came to South Africa, which means all the races are equal. That is, the whites, the blacks, Indians and other colored people should be treated equally. So in this chapter, we'll see why a democratic government is needed for us. In our country, you must be aware of regular elections. Regular elections has been happening in a particular period of time. In your previous chapters, you must have learned what will happen in a democratic country and what is required in a democracy. So in a democracy, the people are the real power. So what they do, they elect the leaders. They choose the leaders by voting. And these leaders, they represent the people and make decisions on behalf of the people. So for example, in your class, you will require a class leader. So if one student is being chosen, you all decide that one student will be a class leader. If more than one student, that is 2 students are there, then you will have to vote. So some students will choose one student and the rest of the students will choose another student. So who will get the majority will be the class leader. So this class leader will represent you all, that is the class, and tell what you need, discuss any problems of the class to the class teacher. Similar way, the representative of the people, that is the leader, will go and discuss with other leaders or in the parliament or in the state assembly. So this is how a democratic country functions. So when you choose a leader, it is like the leader knows what your problems is, what the people require, and what is the need of, say, your area or your place of living. Is it like all governments will function for a very long time? No, there is a particular time till which a government can function. This time is nothing but a period. In India, the period is 5 years. So a government will function for 5 years, and after this 5 years, if the government wants to continue to rule, they will have to stand in an election again. This time, again the people will vote. They will select through voting whether the same government has to continue or a new government will be formed. So this is the time when people realize that they have the real power. Even though the government will be having the authority for 5 years, when after that 5 years people vote, that is a real power because they select the next government, whether it's a previous government or it's a new government. So the entire power lies with the people. So we can clearly realize that any government formed has limitations. That is, they can't rule for a long period or as they wish. This is one of the way people participate in the government. That is, they have a say in the government by voting. There are also other ways through which people can participate in the government. They should know how the government is working. For example, in your street, the road has to be laid. There will be some potholes. So you will require a new road to be laid. Otherwise, there can be some problem in the water supply. So that time the government has to interfere. And this time your leader, whom you elected, he should do the work. Similarly, in a broader way, say in national level, the government will decide how schools should function. It will be what you will be studying, what time you should go to school, and everything. Government can put a policy. Similar way, how farmers should be functioning, any good that can be done for the farmers. These are all the work of the government. So here, if the government is not doing good, is not functioning properly, it is a duty of the people to watch and criticize the government. That is, tell the fault of the government to all the people. For example, in August 2005, what happened was the government, which was ruling, increased the electricity charge. So people had to pay more electricity bill. People were sad because they had to pay more. What people did was they carried out rallies. Rallies are nothing but many people joining together and going out in the streets holding placards or boards which says what you are against. For example, you have to reduce the electricity bill. You say, I don't want to pay more money for electricity. So that way you say that you are against the government's decision. So here what happened, people carried out rallies, then also signature campaigns. Signature campaign is nothing but you collect signatures of people who were not happy with the government. So this time, in this example, what happened was the government tried to tell the people that the increase in electricity payment was good, but people didn't accept. People said, no, it is not good. It is a burden because people had to pay more. So finally what happened? The government said, yes, we will agree to what the people is saying, and they took back the decision. So here what happened? The government had to change the decision because it is a government duty to be responsible towards the people. So similar to this, ways through which people can show their unhappiness towards the government are dharnas. Dharnas is nothing but you stand as a group of people in government offices or other places showing your unhappiness towards the government. And as we saw early, rallies. Then strikes. Strike is nothing but employees or officers who refuse to work showing their unhappiness or opposition. Then signature campaigns. So here the people try to say that what the government is doing is not good, it is not fair. And they are expressing it to all the people. For example, many people will be unhappy, but few will be protesting. Even the rest of the people have to know that people are unhappy. So through these ways, all the people will be knowing that they are against the government's decision. And also newspapers, magazines and television. In television, there are news channels. So they also should discuss what the government is doing, whether it is good or not. When most of the people are joining together and showing their unhappiness towards the government, there are some people who might not be able to do this. So what they do is they will form movements, a social movement. For example, minorities, the Muslim people, Christian people, they will be having their own problems, which they would have felt the government is not paying heed to or not listening to. Or the Dalit people, they will be having some problems in the society, they will want the government to hear to them, and Adivasi people, they will be in a remote area and they have to come to the city together as a group, and they have to express their unhappiness towards the government for not listening to them. And also women. Even women express their unhappiness if proper representation is not given to them. So these groups, they join together and form such movements and participate in the democratic process. So in a country, only if the people are aware, that is, if they know what the government is doing, how the government is running, how the entire nation is working, this forms a basis for a democracy process, and only then the nation will be a strong nation. So next time when you're outside in your city or in your village or in your town and you see people gathering together or going out as a rally or dharnas, so it should be a duty to ask why they are going out as a rally or why they are participating or protesting against the government. So in this way you will know how the government is working, whether it is good or bad. We all know that India is a country with different cultures, different religions, many regions, and also people have different economic backgrounds. That is, people will be rich, poor, upper class, middle class. So we all live together. So what happens is, sometimes a particular people won't like what other people do, and some people will feel that they are being treated badly or ill-treated. Some set of people will think they are being insulted or discriminated. This can be for various reasons within a society. So at these times what happens is, either they'll feel uneasy, unhappy, sometimes they'll be angry. This will result in conflicts. So there can be fights between two groups. So what such type of people will think is, if they resort to violence, that is, one group of people will take some sticks, the other group of people will take some knives, swords, and they'll start fighting, they'll think that if they fight, the problem will be solved. But actually, what really will be happening is, there will be fear. The people who are not directly involved in this type of violence, they will be the real sufferers. What will happen to them? They will be sitting inside their home, afraid, fear will be looming into their minds. They can't do their normal activity. They'll be scared. So in such situation, what is required is, the government has to step in. The government has to call the two groups who are fighting and try to solve the problem. So here we will learn some of the problems which is arising in a society. So, and what the government has to do to solve them. Before that, one thing everyone should know is our Indian Constitution. So it is a document which has rules which everyone must follow, irrespective of religion, caste, region, language. Every Indian has to follow the law of the land, that is the Indian Constitution. This includes even the government and also the people. They have to follow the law. And also any fight or any conflicts that arise among the people, it has to be solved within this law. We will learn more about our Constitution and what the law says in our next classes. So we'll see what problems arise between two groups in our society. One major problem is always a religious procession. That is, people of a particular religion, they go out as groups. Sometimes they might carry their god, or sometimes there will be festivals, there will be celebrations like a puja. So here one particular people might not like what other people do, or the other people might not like what these people do. So in such gatherings or processions, what happens is, conflicts come. There will be uneasiness, or there can be fights. So here the government, or in particular the police, has to come in and take action. They have to take care that the problem does not come. They have to call each group, that is both the groups, both the religious groups, and try to ask what the problem is, what has to be done or what can be done, how any violence or fights can be avoided, and they should ask and try to find a solution. Because what happens is, again, violence may come. That is, one particular people can throw stones, or as I said earlier, they can carry some sticks and try to beat other people, and they'll try to stop the procession, the gathering or rally of the people. So here it is the duty of the police to try to avoid such violence or conflicts or fights. They should make sure that such incidents does not occur. Another example is rivers. India has a rich source of river water, and many rivers flow through one or two or more states, different states. So one particular river may start in one state, flow through another, and end in another state. So here, if each state is not getting their share of water, or if they feel that the water they are getting is not enough, then there will be a conflict. one best example will be the river Kaveri. The river Kaveri starts from Karnataka, flows through Tamil Nadu and also the state of Pondicherry, and finally meets the ocean, sea. So in Karnataka, we have Krishnaraja Sagara Dam. So here the state stores the Kaveri water and it is used for irrigation by the farmers in the nearby districts of where the dam is. And also what happens is the Kaveri water is used for the needs of the Bengaluru city. So here for two reasons the Kaveri water is required in the state of Karnataka. One is for irrigation, that is farmers use the water for their crops. Next is the people of Bengaluru city use it. So it is important for the people of Karnataka. Next what happens is Tamil Nadu. Here water is stored initially in Mettur Dam. So in the nearby districts where Mettur Dam is, like Coimbatore, Erode, Tirupur, Salem, water is used for crops. And also after that it goes to the Delta region, that is the rice bowl of Tamil Nadu, that is Nagapattinam, Tanjavur, Thiruvarur. So here these districts farmers, they require water for the crops. So here two dams require water, two states require utmost water. So in the upstream Karnataka is there, they have to release the water, then only the people of Tamil Nadu will get water for their crops and their needs. Sometimes or most of the times what happens is both the states won't have enough water. So that is why conflict arises, problem arises. To solve this, the central government has to step in. They have to call the two states, they have to put a proper plan, how much water has to be given to which state, that is, it has to be fair. It has to be fair for both the states. It has to be good for both the states. And both the states have to agree. Then only such conflicts can be removed. The Kaveri dispute has been for almost 30 years. Problem between two states, tension arise, sometimes even violence erupt. But look at this picture, in spite of all those problems, the river Kaveri is flowing quietly. So in a democratic country, it is the government's duty to maintain equality and justice in the society. That is, all the people have to be treated equally, be it rich or poor or whatever they may be. They should be treated equally and justice should be given to all. Hence, we can also say that both equality or justice come together. That is, they can't be separated, which also means it is right that everyone should be treated equally. Most of you must be knowing that there was a practice of untouchability in our society, and currently it is banned. That is, it is abolished according to our Indian law. If anyone is practicing untouchability, they will be punished. So the people who were affected by this untouchability, that is, such people were considered low in the society. So in olden days, such people were denied education. That is, they should not go to school or colleges like how now all children go. They were also denied transport facilities. They should not get into the bus or train. They should not sit in the bus. They were also denied medical facilities. They should not go to the hospital or visit a doctor. And they were not also allowed inside a temple. They should not enter a temple. So these were injustice to the people who faced the untouchability. You must have read in earlier books about Dr. Ambedkar. He and many others during our freedom struggle or earlier or later years fought against this system or this practice. They didn't want people to be treated as less in the society. So to stop this practice, what they said was all people must be treated equally. So at the moment, the government also is aware, or the government knows that it is a social problem, and people who were treated badly in olden days, they should be given an opportunity now, and hence there are certain provisions, special provisions or schemes given to such groups who were treated unequal. And for example, we also have another problem in the society, which is the boy-girl problem. That is, boys are seen with more value or higher than the girls. The society sees boys and girls not as equal, but boys at a higher rank than the girls. It is not good, it is unfair by not realizing the importance of a girl child. It is a problem of a society, which also includes parents. So here, the government has to step in and has to make sure that both boys and girls are treated equally. And by knowing that the girls were not given the rightful opportunity, government has to make certain provisions to help them come up in the society. The government can waive or reduce the fees the girl child has to pay in schools, that is government schools or in government colleges. So do you think by lowering or reducing the fees girl students has to pay in government schools can make more girls attend schools? Continue to register your comments. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel.